everyone, it is Rachel, and for my very first video, it's going to be a long one, but I'm going to be chatting to my mum about all things in regards to like being a parent of an au pair and just how you can support the au pair during their whole entire journey. Which is something which is a pretty crucial role when you're a parent. You always want to support your kid, but in particular when they take on the job of being an au pair, how you can do that. Because my mum obviously has experience, not just once now but twice, because it's my second time around being an au pair, and so I wanted for you guys to have the opportunity to have her talk. Because she has a lot of experience, not just in like the au pairing arena, but obviously she's a community nurse as well, so she sees parents on a daily basis. So the perspective she has been really, really important and very crucial in helping me in my au pairing journey and helping me become the best au pair that I essentially can be. Which has been awesome, and in turn becoming the best person that I can be, because when you can really give everything to your au pairing program, you can only become your best version of you. So I'm gonna get her to have a chat because she's literally, this is her last night here with me before she flies off to for the rest of her holiday to see my lovely auntie in Milan, which I'm totally jealous about. But yeah, so I wanted to ask her a few questions, so we're gonna hang out with her and get her take on everything, and so hopefully you all enjoy it, because it's here for your enjoyment, but it's also here to give you the knowledge that you need to know. All the way from Australia. That's true, from the down under. No, so we'll just bounce with a few questions. I'm going to ask the questions for Marie. Me mum.
Okay.
She might power some back. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
But the theme is obviously going to be parents of au pairs. One being the parent, one being the au pair. So the first question is,
first time round, it was probably the fact that you hadn't been overseas by yourself before, and going all that way across to America. That was quite a challenging thought. Also, my concerns was that how would you manage your family situation, going from living just with, at that stage it was mum and you, to two of us, to actually living with a family. That was a little bit more extended, especially when we found out that was in a more isolated area.
Yeah, very rural
area.
600 people.
So that was a big challenge for coming from a city. So that was all. And just round about the dynamics of the family situation, communication. We had spoken a few times through Skype. We got a good little feel, but still it's not until you're really in the situation that everything gets revealed, because you can cover things up and you can misinterpret. Definitely everyone can look really good in a very short hour Skype session. And so I suppose that was just how, as a 19-year-old, it was going to be quite a shift. This time, seeing this your second experience, being an au pair, it was too different, because obviously you had been living at home for a while, much more mature. Yes, of course you were. A lot more life experience under your belt. So my concerns probably this time around were how you're going to adjust to the limitations that perhaps a family was going to put on you.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you may not have your own car. You go back to living in a very small room when you had been living with friends, very different living with girlfriends compared to living under a roof of family, restrictions. Also, concerns maybe, again, how the dynamics of the family is going to play out.
Yeah, and I guess the rules and regulations in regards to like being from a really structured childcare basis to like kind of how they want to raise their kids.
That's right.
It's quite different as well.
Yeah.
So the pulls.
And just being, respectful of that. And I think also my concerns is that making sure that you're still retaining your independence as well, and that you're being really authentic, and making sure that this experience was going to be a positive one for you, rather than just a stressful situation. So
and I guess worthwhile at the end of the day, because
exactly, that's the whole reason why you came on a cultural exchange, to experience different things. And I would hope that my hope was that in each of the situations that they would treat you very respectfully and very fairly. You do hear stories, but I think the program sort of lead up. I think the program the second time around was a little bit more transparent as well. So I think that was a positive thing as well.
most certainly, definitely.
I think certainly the first couple of months is really, really challenging. Obviously just to be physically no longer present, to be so far away. Certainly you can be at the end of a Skype session, end of a phone, end of a text. So I suppose that in itself is a challenge, and that can be stressful for you as a parent, especially if initially things aren't going as smoothly as you had hoped. Perhaps because the knowledge that the family had shared with you wasn't quite correct about the child or the behaviours,
the environment
or the environment. Just that's a huge little bit of a challenge, I suppose. This time round also coming right in the middle of winter, that cold, and all that comes with that as
the winter
well.
blues.
Yes, exactly. Especially coming from beautiful sunshine, beaches, freedom, being able to get out, walk, and enjoy that, to be kept in or indoors, all that type of thing. So that sort of as a parent. Also, just wondering, how much contact you should be making. Do you let your daughter obviously just lead you, which I think is the way. Initially, I think if you make too much contact, that can actually just obviously give you a little bit of homesickness. So I think just finding that balance sometimes at times can be a little bit challenge. The other challenge is also just the timing, depending on whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast.
And then back in your home country, even the difference in Australia, West Coast versus East Coast.
Yeah, exactly. Example, like I'm ready to go to bed, and you might be needing to have conversations. So that means I go to bed with a little stress and worry that perhaps you're not as happy as what I would like you to be.
I definitely feel like in the first couple of weeks, especially like my first year, I was calling you at like ridiculous times, like at 3 a.m. in the morning when I was managing. Oh, it was probably 4 when I was trying to just deal with getting the kids dinner and like whatever afternoon saga had happened, and it was only like 4 a.m. your time.
Yeah, that's right.
Which makes it really difficult when you have to be trying to juggle your life back in your home country. Versus,
but you want to be available to your children. So I think that's part of the commitment as a parent. If you do have a son or daughter being an au pair, for that first few months of settling in, I think you have to expect there's going to be highs and lows, and you're going to be available as you would be if that child was home, that you would actually respond to their sort of need. And then obviously, if at two different stages, when perhaps you need to go into rematch, things aren't working out again, you need to be sort of available again, and to be a really open sounding board, I think.
I think that's the key. I think sometimes we, as the au pairs, tend to think that our opinion or our perspective on the situation is the only way. And it's up to the parents to kind of be the equal party and just kind of really hear what they're saying and allow them to kind of process it with, like, obviously your advice being from a parent's perspective as well, because you get that and understand that sometimes the way that we see it, being a young person not having raised kids, is very different. So you have to be respectful of that as well.
And I think just being objective, like you said, sort of, we've had that life experience. Maybe we've been in that same situation, and that's perhaps why we, the host parent may be defending their child, or that's maybe again how they've chosen to bring up their children. And,
how they choose to discipline them, or not make them do something that we see as important.
Yeah. So again, that sort of can be of conflict as well. So just having that balance as well. And I suppose basically, you do trust your parents that they will give you the best advice that they can and give. But ultimately, again, it's still up to the au pair herself to actually make that final decision for herself as well.
Yeah. And I guess that's important for the au pair to know that as well, that like they can talk to their parents as much, but that even like I remember a few times Mum was like, oh, you need to speak up, you need to say something right now. But I didn't and I was like, yeah, I'll listen to you, and I really wanted to say something, but I couldn't really, when it like came to push and shove, I couldn't go and have that conversation with my host parents. So it's like, as well and good as hearing that information, you have to be able to really act on it, and it has to be right for you. And at the times it wasn't right for me to say it, but when it was, then I went and did it. And I think that that's the thing, like you can get all the advice you need from those sources, but you also have to, at the end of the day, make your decision and act on it in accordance.
Yeah. And that's all about the whole experience.
That's the part of you growing. And
yes, that's right.
That's the point why you're meant to do it.
Expanding yourself and also challenging yourself to think differently. And I suppose to have empathy for your host family and their children as well.
Yeah. So because obviously the kids here are like quite different to the kids in your country, I would say. Yeah. Like in some respects, obviously, just like their customs and stuff and ways they're being brought up aren't always the
same as us. And even the language that we use is a little bit different, so that can be misinterpreted as well, by either the host family or the children or things like that as well. So, I think it's all about learning.